Okay, so what does the modern law firm of the future look like? Well, this is a really, really great question. I want to get into this because I think the law firm of the future is going to be affected by two things. The first is the level of expectation that the client has on what the law firm services should look like. But more importantly, the second thing is the impact on the law firm of what is known as the professional indemnity insurance. And as anybody who's in the legal profession will know, you have to have professional indemnity insurance in place to trade. And I've looked at this in a lot of detail, particularly behind the scenes in a lot of law firms. And the challenge that they have at the moment is that particularly when transactions are strung out for a long period of time, not necessarily because it's their fault, I hasten to add, but when transactions are strung out for a long period of time, what happens is the client's level of anxiety goes up, okay, and they become stressed out and all the rest of it, and that can lead to them making a complaint against the law firm. As I say, it may not be their fault, but that complaint comes in, and in most cases, that complaint has to be referred to the professional indemnity insurers. And as more and more complaints come in, what happens is the insurers view that as a higher risk and then start to escalate those professional indemnity insurance premiums almost to the point, and in fact it has happened, where those premiums are increased to the point where it puts the law firm out of business. Okay, now that really, in my mind, is the gun to the head to most law firms to ensure that the service that they're offering to the marketplace is quick and efficient, and more importantly, ticks a lot of boxes when it comes to customer service. Okay, now one of the areas where I think the law firm of the future is going to thrive and do really, really well is through employing what we would call traditional sales and marketing departments in their business, which again, a lot of law firms that I've looked at don't really have that. They might sponsor an ad in the local community magazine, or they, might sponsor the local football club, or they might do other bits and pieces where they put an advert in the paper, but they haven't really understood or employed, shall we say, a full end-to-end sales process within their business. And that can be a major challenge, because what then happens for a lot of law firms is that they end up competing on price. And that is the quickest route to ruin, in my humble opinion, as far as most law firms are concerned. A client will ring up and they'll go, I'm thinking about buying a house. Oh, yeah, can you tell me a little bit more details about the house? What is it? Where is it? Blah, blah, blah. They take a few details about the property and they say, oh, yeah, well it'll cost you $795 for your conveyance. And the client goes, well, actually, Joe Bloggs down the road is doing it for $695. Will you do it for less? Okay. Now, in most circumstances, the law firm, particularly if they want the business, will reduce their fee. They're competing on price. They're not competing on value, which is very, very different. And if they'd understood a sales and marketing process, then they would enter what's known as objection handling, deal with the client's objection, demonstrate how they provide additional value to the client, and win the business at a higher fee. Okay, and this is not just I'm not just offering this guidance to small one-man band law firms. I'm suggesting it to much bigger firms as well, because I've seen firms that are in the multi-million pounds worth of turnover, and they are still struggling to communicate value to their client. They're still struggling to get a good fee out of their client. And as a consequence, they are ending up losing money on each property deal that they put through. And for the insurers, they view property work as the highest risk because it could lead to the one with the biggest claims. And as a consequence, insurance premiums can rise, and then they can be put in threat of going out of business. So I honestly think the law firms of the future are going to be the ones that will commit to doing a high level of service in a very short time frame for a reasonable fee. And reasonable would mean that you're looking at probably doubling the fee that you charge for conveyancing at the moment. But in exchange for that, you're offering a much shorter time frame. And the reason I think that makes total sense is because conveyancing is a fairly people-intensive business. And the reason a lot of conveyancers have left the profession is because they feel under-rewarded and under-recognized to the value they bring to the transaction. And that is largely because it all points back to this stack 'em high, sell 'em cheap fee model that they use, whereas actually if they were charging a premium for the value that they bring to the transaction, i.e. by putting the time and effort into making sure this transaction goes well, we're going to prevent you from having any problems in the future when it comes to selling the property. Okay, so I think there's enormous value that lawyers add to the transaction, but they need to find a way to communicate that to the marketplace. And again, for any law firm that wants to know how to do this effectively, read Estate Agent Secrets. I know it's aimed at estate agents, but any property specific business will benefit from reading those books, because it will take you through the process of what you need to do to add more value to the marketplace in a way that your clients can see that and embrace it and take part in providing you with greater levels of business at much higher fees. Okay, so I think law firm of the future really comes down to efficiency, it comes down to value add, and it comes down to charging a reasonable fee, which equates to the significant value that they're bringing to the transaction. So that's it from me, guys. Thank you so much again. It's 26 weeks now of doing these WiggyWam Get Your Property Questions Answered webinars and podcasts. For anybody who's got other questions and concerns of a property-related nature, we'll return to our normal format next week. But please send your questions and concerns and comments into us. Happy to help at wiggywam.co.uk. That's happy to help at wiggywam.co.uk. You can go to our website, which is wiggywam.co.uk. Set up a free profile there and send us messages and comments through the website itself. Or you can find us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is at WiggyWam_UK. That's at WiggyWam_UK. And we'll be delighted to serve you and answer your questions in next week's episode. So thanks once again for all your love and support. Thank you for helping us to make 26 weeks. A big congratulations to all of you for everything that you've done to help and support us as well. And I'll look forward to seeing you on a future webinar very, very soon. Thanks ever so much indeed, guys. You take care. See you soon. Bye.